Close guard. When I have this guy in my guard, there's some specific things I need to do to maintain control of the position. The first of those things is to keep him on the ground, right? I don't want him standing up. I have a really big advantage here in the fact that my hips are on top of his hips, okay? If my hips are on the ground, okay, his hips are a little bit higher than mine, it is a lot easier for him to stand up, okay? So the first thing I want to do is get my hips into his lap. Okay, so I'm going to curl my heels to my butt. And so it's like I'm trying to put my heels on the ground and then bring them underneath his butt. And that action will draw my hips into his lap. And so now my hips are in his lap. And now it'll be a lot more difficult for him to stand up, which you already experienced. So you can play with this if you want. You can put your butt on the ground and then tell your partner to stand up. So go ahead and stand up. Okay, not too difficult, comes down, right? And we sit back in the guard, gets good posture. So this time I come to here. Now he stands up. Like he can still stand up, but it's a lot harder, right? So come back down. We need to make it hard on him to stand up so that we have the time to do stuff when he starts trying to stand up. We're not gonna look at that today, but it's part of maintaining this position. So we're talking about that. So what I do, I get in this position, I curl my heels down and to my butt, okay? And then I can kind of bring my knees towards me a little bit. So I'm making him carry my weight. Now try to stand up. It should be even harder than last time, right? And I'll come back down. So that's what we want. All right. And then the final thing we need to be able to do is break down his posture. And so there's a couple things we can do. If we get here and his knees are a little bit wide and we're in this position, right? I can bring my hips to the ground and pull my knees in. Like if your hips were on the ground, you would lift them up and pull your knees in. But our hips are already in his lap if we're doing this correctly, right? Our hips are above his hips, so we can consciously let our hips drop to the ground and then pull our knees in. And we can use this as one way to break down the posture. And they'll do many different things with the arms, which we're going to look at today. But this is easily countered by him bringing his knees a little bit closer to his butt and my hips. So the second way we have to break down the posture, which is the way that I use throughout my jiu-jitsu, is then, so I have the action of curling my feet down and pulling my knees a little bit to my shoulders, so he's carrying my weight. I get a collar grip here, maintain good posture. I get a grip here, right? And I start to make him carry my weight, okay? So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna start to bounce my feet like this. What has to happen is that every time I pull him here, if he wants to counter this, he lifts his hips, right? So you lift your hips, get your posture back. Sit up, get good posture. Look, see what did he do? He lifted his hip. I pull him down, get good posture. So I say here, get good posture. Yeah. Get drive into me and lift your posture up. So you have to put forward pressure with his hips. So if I get a sleeve and a collar and I start going like this, his posture comes down. Now resist me. Resist. Figure out how to resist. Resist. It's very, people can't do it because what has to happen is every time the guy bounces his feet, if this guy wants to stay up, he's got to lift his hips. If you bounce your foot one time, he lifts his hips and he comes back down. But if you go boom, 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 he has to go dun, 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 dun. And eventually he runs out of room and his posture breaks down. And you hang your weight here, you go, right? Maintain good posture. So start up, yeah. So like start there, right? I have here, right? Every little, this is how we break posture down. It's the same action as when I showed you when we're escaping side control. It's just this. And then boom, they fall over.